Hello, this is Heavy Thrash of Nasty Metal Production channel at YouTube. Okay, I'm gonna do something a little, I guess you could say this is a top 10 list. Because I'm gonna about to show 10 albums, but since on the Forces of Steel form talking about, it was all about EPs not being albums. Because of, you've had the time lengths or something, and I went into where some albums really also tend to be not very long, almost being at the length of an EP. So that's what I'm about to show is at least from the what I'm going to show is from the shortest to longest, and the longest I'm going to go on, I'm going to at least tell you at least the longest for me is 30 minutes. Anything after 30 minutes, like let's say 31, 32, 33, 30, you go into there, you're already getting into more full length, time length. But not to say that these albums are, because some of these tend to be like 8 songs or some, but sometimes maybe 6. Some of the times 6 songs. You can have 6 songs, which that would be an EP, but if it ends up to where the album ends up, or the CD, vinyl, whatever, ends up clocking around 30, 31, 32, and it's 6 songs, you've already made it to being a full-length album. It all depends at the time length. So that's what I'm going into, showing full-length albums that actually tend to be pretty short, but are full length. They're, So I'll go with at least the shortest. And this one clocks around, I have it listed on my computer so I don't forget. This one clocks around 25 minutes and 07 seconds. 7 seconds. Which is Merciless Death's Evil in the Night. Yes, this album. The eponymous debut by Retro Thrasher's Merciless Death. This album is indeed one of the shortest albums, or full-length albums, in my collection. It's fucking crazy. And this really isn't one of Merciless Death's best, and they've never really been known to having really great albums. But this one is the shortest, like 20. It barely even makes the 20. It barely makes it a full 26 minutes. It's crazy, and it's 8 tracks. So I guess that to me this is almost an EP, really. But whatever, it's not bad. But honestly, to some, this is pretty much an insult to thrash metal, but 25 minutes long. Shit. This next one, now we're going to 26. This one clocks around 26:08. This set is Corrosion of Conformity's Animosity. And it should be noted that most crossover thrash bands or some are hard, or that bands that mix a lot of hardcore punk, let's say for an instance like grindcore, which mix hardcore with death metal, most of those albums tend to be pretty short, even though the songs are, there's a bunch of songs like either 15, 16, 17, even 20. Hell, I've seen some around 30 minutes, but that's going into a whole nother subgenre. I think some of you might know it's something that's after me grindcore, and but this is this album clocks around 26:08. 10 songs, and it's not a bad album really. I like Corrosion of Conformity. I haven't listened to a whole lot after, because I know their sound changed a lot after I think like an EP, and then when I hit the 90s our sound really changed. But yeah, this is definitely a little longer than the Merciless Death, but still not barely as almost would be an EP, but given the fact that most hardcore influenced thrash bands, you know, all that stuff, all those always don't have really long albums, like 34, 80, unless you're, I guess you're DRI, maybe. Oh, I guess that's another one I forgot to put in here, but I don't know. I didn't care to throw in crossover. Just forgot. Anyway, this is a new album. I recently reviewed this, but this is Witchblade, A Scoldiness Eld. Now this marks around 26 minutes and 31 seconds. The clock's around that time, and again, this would be an EP, but given it's 8 songs, whatever, I passed it. Even Snow White were one, but those albums clocked around 17, 18 minutes long. Those were not long, and I don't have any physical copies of those, but those are pretty damn short, but those are almost considered full-length by that band. Same would go for like Hyrax's second album, but really, but here, Witchblade of Scoldiness Eld. Definitely, again. I'm going by the longer. As much this list progresses, the time lengths start to get a lot longer. So this one ends up being more of a full length, I guess. Even though 26, whatever. Going along. This, now we're starting to go on to 27. This album clocks around 27 minutes and 7 seconds. This is Transmetal. Hope I'm going to say this right. Crónicas de Dolor. This is a thrash metal band out of Mexico, and this is one of their later albums. The reason I picked this one up, even though being pretty cheap, is because the album was produced by Eric Mayer, Dark Angel fame. You know, you should know about by now who Dark Angel is. Darkness Descends, We Have Arrived, Leaf Scars, Time Does Not Heal. Band had fucking Gene Hoglan on drums. Anyways, he produced this album, and I'm gonna definitely go in and say that the production really took me off guard. I don't know about what happened, but it sounds way too thin. The drums sound way too fucking thin. It almost has no punch to it. It sounds very, very raw. But but given the fact that this is a hybrid of death metal and thrash metal, it's definitely got. It's like almost like early Sepultura, practically. It's got that some of that sound, and this was released in 1993? Let me look around here. Should be on here. Yeah. Released in 1993. So this is definitely pretty much early 90s, almost going to mid 90s or some, but still definitely a good one. I haven't checked out some of the earlier ones. Just haven't really came across their first album yet in physical form, which I am very much want to check out as their first one, which was like I think like around the late 80s, but still not a bad album. I have to give this at least a few more spins to actually really say that this one's good, but I'll show you a little bit of this. This sounds fairly cheap to get, and if you really are interested in checking out Transmetal, their albums are not hard to get at, really. Even you can find these in some of your U.S. Record stores. I found this at Rasputin down in Fresno, so you can just find these in any other record store, I think. Going into now 27 minutes, still going in. This time clock's around 27 and 27 minutes and 41 seconds, and it's none other than a heavy metal cult classic, Oz's Fire in the Brain. This album, I have nothing else to say. I already did kind of a review, a type review though, on the Forces of Steel forum, and this is just a classic album. I can't say, and yes, this is a technically, we're starting to get in like the 28 minutes now, starting to, but still 27 minutes, 8 tracks. Almost could be an EP, but really isn't, because it's got enough to keep it from not being that short. Doesn't have a lot of, it's just no bullshit heavy metal. Just got some great songs as well, and I don't think Oz has ever put out a bad album. Whatever you say about their first one, Heavy Metal Heroes, I actually am very fond of that album. I am. I don't have a physical copy because, I don't know, vinyl pressings seem to go for quite a bit, and I haven't found a really good official CD copy of that one, even though it's being said that it exists, but I have not found one. As far as I know, it was only released through iTunes. Boo. Still, this is a great album. Alright, now we're going to 28 minutes now. This one clocks around 28 minutes and 8 seconds, and it's... Oh look, who's back? Merciless Death's second album. This is Realm of Terror. Definitely a much more matured effort, like I stated in my retro thrash metal video. They already a little starting to mature. This time they really put together at least some of their, at least their best work. I would say this one is their best album, even though besides production sounding way too fucking clean for its own good, still, there's some better songs on here than what was present on the very amateurous first album. Okay, we're going on, this one clocks around 28 minutes and 49 seconds. Got the computer so fucking far back. I don't think I need to say too much about this. Saxon, first album. Yes, for the first album was pretty short. Even though much shorter than some of the other, especially Merciless Death's first album. This is indeed another classic album by one of the most influential bands that come out of the new wave of British heavy metal movement in the 80s, or late 70s to at least around early mid 80s. Still, classic album. I guess some don't really regard this as good as the other ones. I don't care. It's a great disc. I am very fond of it. Songs such as, you know, the Rainbow Theme and Frozen Rainbow, you know, probably one of the proggiest songs on here, which just, if you combine them both, it's just one song. It's just one of their best songs along with Judgment Day. Still going on, now we're into the 30s. So this album clocks around 30 minutes and 21 seconds. That means we're getting near to the end of the list. So this is Power Lord, The Awakening. This would, in hindsight, this would be a EP because it has 6 songs on here. But the time length, again, clocks around 30 minutes and 21 seconds. So this passes as a full length because of that time length. It all depends on the time lengths, not by how much songs are fucking featured on the disc or LP. So, still, great album. This is more your US power metal, teen thrash metal. It's definitely got some thrash in this, but it's got a lot of more melodies on here, and not. I guess I always see this band get kind of almost compared to Testament, but I don't hear a whole lot of Testament on here. I hear a lot more U.S. power metal, like stuff, like more in the vein of a little bit of Metal Church, some in that vein. What's another one? Wild Dogs, like Reign of Terror era. Hold on. Reign of Terror era. What's another one that that band is starting to leave my mind? Shit. Agent Steel is another one. Gee, there's a few other ones I know, but it's got that sort of power metal, thrash metal thing going on with this one. It's good, and especially the vocalist, who really does have he definitely got a bit of that U.S. power metal, because of at times he starts out very barkish, you know, his vocals and such. It's like got that sort of thrash thing going on, but then when he starts to really get clean and hit those falsettos, it goes into that direction. Like Hollow's Eve, for an example. Like Stacey Anderson of Hollow's Eve, he has that sort of style where he starts to sing almost like her, or so like that. And then when he finally hits like the fucking falsettos and ever, it's like almost like King Diamond-ish at times as well. It's definitely great. Not too much, but it's got that like almost Halford-ish, even though the sound does have a lot of Judas Priest influence. And to me, I would say this is more comparable to like Painkiller, but this album was definitely released before Painkiller. This was 1986 and Painkiller was 1990. So, classic album. This is the Skull Records, Shadow Kingdom Records reissue from 2014, which was last year. Okay, going to number 2 on the list. This one clocks around 30 minutes and 38 seconds. I showed this in my New Wave of British Heavy Metal Revival video. It says, Witchfinder General, Death Penalty. Definitely a classic. Again, can't say too much about this. It's a good one. You know what's also crazy? I just, I don't know, I want to bring this up. What really shocked me was, and I didn't, because I didn't care to look who was the producer for this album, but it comes out that it was Pete Hinton, who was known for producing Saxon's Wheels of Steel, Strong Arm the Law, and Pictures, Diamond Dreamer, which was definitely something. I was definitely surprised to see that, but he produced this album. Thus why giving it its sort of heavy sort of production for at least 1982, which was also release year of Diamond Dreamer by Picture. Still great album. Definitely the more Sabbath sounding band. To me, I also see Quartzy as a bit of a Sabbath sounding band, even though they've got a bit of that Sabbath sound. Witchfinder General epitomized that Sabbath sound. They really, I would say, I think at this time when this was released, I think they were almost considered Black Sabbath clones, because of how blatantly the songs on here sound very much like Black Sabbath, like something you expect on like Master of Reality or Volume 4, like the real, or maybe Paranoid, but to me it's like Master of Reality and Volume 4. Just some great tracks on here. The last one is 30 minutes and 39 seconds. And I did mention him in the video. So, Agent Steel, Skeptic's Apocalypse. Their debut full length, and definitely at least, even though being 30 minutes, that's why I chose this, because anything after 30 minutes, you're already getting in the full length territory. But this album was kind of short due to 30 minutes, but not nearly as short as Merciless Death's first album. But still good. Classic US speed metal band. That or US power metal, whatever, at least if you get into Unstoppable Force. But still, great release. Definitely the most raw sounding. This one doesn't fuck around most of the time. It's like, I can listen to this one and not get bored. It's just got some great songs on here. If you consider yourself a metal fan and don't have this, let alone Unstoppable Force, which I don't have, though, whatever. If you don't have this one, you should. It's a classic album. And this is the, even though the remaster is taken from the Century Media Press, this is a, let me see, I guess this is a Argentinian release, which was released by Del Imaginary Discos. Just, but right there. They just, this, I guess, an Argentinian pressing, I guess. I have to look at where the label's from again, but this is definitely one of those. It's a different pressing of the 2008 reissue. Okay, that's pretty much it for this video. I showed at least some of the shortest albums that I have in here, so that's it. So, just like how I end my videos, this is Heavy Thrash saying I am out.